Welcome back to our channel. Today, we're diving into one of the most transformative productivity books of our time, David Allen's Getting Things Done, The Art of Stress-Free Productivity. If you've ever felt overwhelmed by your to-do list, struggled to keep track of tasks, or found yourself buried in a sea of post-it notes and reminders, this book is your roadmap to clarity and control. Here at Motivations, we regularly post book summaries and discussions, and many content for motivations to help you enhance your personal and professional life. So if you're new to our channel, be sure to subscribe and join our community. Your support helps us continue bringing valuable content your way. Now, grab your notebook and let's explore how to revolutionize your approach to productivity. In Chapter 1 of Getting Things Done, David Allen begins by presenting a compelling case for a new approach to managing our increasingly chaotic lives. We guide you through his insights on how to gain control and clarity amidst the overwhelming pressures of modern work. The chapter, titled A New Practice for a New Reality, lays the groundwork for the entire GTD system, which promises to free us from the constant mental clutter that often leaves us stressed and unfocused. Imagine, if you will, a professional life where tasks, commitments, and responsibilities are relentless. Every day, emails flood your inbox, deadlines loom, and meetings pile up. It's no wonder many of us feel overwhelmed. Allen is aware of this all-too-common scenario, and he believes that the root of this anxiety is the absence of a reliable system for handling the demands we face. Without such a system, we keep everything in our heads, and it weighs us down. But Allen insists there is a better way. He begins by outlining 3 fundamental objectives of his GTD method, each designed to help us navigate the sea of tasks we juggle daily. The first objective is simple but profound. Capture everything. Every task, project, or commitment that crosses your mind should be stored somewhere outside of your brain. Allen explains that our brains are not designed to hold information like a computer. Instead, they are meant for processing, thinking, and problem-solving. When we try to remember everything we need to do, we overload our mental circuits. The GTD solution is to create a trusted system where you can record every incoming demand, freeing your mind to focus on the task at hand. The second objective is about making quick, decisive judgments on these inputs. As new tasks and responsibilities come in, you must decide right away what needs to be done with them. Should you act on it immediately, delegate it, or store it for future reference? By making these decisions up front, you eliminate the ambiguity and anxiety that come from having a mountain of undefined responsibilities. Allen urges us not to let tasks linger in the gray zone of, "I'll figure it out later," because that's where stress festers. The third objective is to organize and coordinate your captured tasks and decisions in a system you trust. A calendar for time-specific tasks, lists for action items, and project plans for larger endeavors all need to be regularly reviewed and updated. Allen emphasizes the importance of curating your commitments so you can confidently tackle what matters most at any given moment. Allen, as the narrator conveys, is acutely aware that the modern world places increasing demands on knowledge workers, people who must constantly make decisions, solve problems, and create value. He points out that many of us have never been trained to handle this flood of information effectively. As a result, stress builds and productivity wanes. The GTD system promises a pathway out of this spiral by helping us take charge of our work and bring a sense of order to the chaos. The heart of Allen's message is embodied in the concept of the ready state, a term borrowed from martial arts, where a practitioner maintains a poised, alert stance, ready to respond with just the right amount of energy to any challenge that arises. The metaphor is vivid. Like water reacting to a pebble thrown into a pond, we should aim to respond fluidly to new inputs, maintaining focus and calm. Once the disturbance is dealt with, we return to a state of equilibrium, unperturbed by the noise around us. To achieve this state, Allen reveals a key insight. Our mental energy is often drained by what he calls open loops. These are incomplete tasks, unresolved commitments, or any worry that has not been adequately addressed. Every open loop takes up space in our minds, distracting us from focusing on what's most important. The solution? Capture and clarify these commitments as soon as possible. It's at this point that Allen introduces one of his central ideas. Knowledge workers, unlike traditional laborers, must define their own tasks before they can even begin to accomplish them. While a factory worker knows exactly what to do upon arrival, turn a wrench, assemble a part, a knowledge worker must first decide what their goals are and how to achieve them. It's a process that demands clear thinking and proactive management, and GTD is designed to provide just that. But why do these tasks and ideas persist in our minds, constantly distracting us? Alan offers three reasons. Either we haven't captured them in a system, we haven't decided what to do about them, or we haven't set up a reminder to take action. These loose ends remain in our consciousness, gnawing at us, making it hard to focus. The solution is a systematic approach to managing these commitments so that nothing is left to chance. As Alan's narrative progresses, he emphasizes that managing action is the key to productivity. It's not enough to have goals or priorities. We need to break them down into tangible, concrete actions. Projects can seem overwhelming when viewed as a whole, but once they're deconstructed into individual steps, the path forward becomes clearer. It's in this clarity of action that Alan believes true productivity lies. One of the more surprising insights of the chapter is that time management, though often touted as the solution to our productivity problems, is not the core issue. Alan insists that managing clarity, knowing exactly what needs to be done next, is far more critical. With a clear understanding of what needs to be accomplished, time naturally falls into place. We can assure you that Chapter 1 of Getting Things Done sets the stage for an approach to work that is both grounded and liberating. Alan's system doesn't just promise efficiency. It offers peace of mind in a world that's constantly vying for your attention. By the end of this chapter, readers are ready to take control of their mental clutter and set the stage for a more productive, focused, and stress-free way of working. In Chapter 2 of Getting Things Done, David Allen shifts from the broader concept of managing mental clutter to a more detailed exploration of why our personal organization systems often fail. Allen begins by acknowledging a common frustration we all experience. No matter how hard we try to get organized, things inevitably fall through the cracks. Projects get delayed, important emails are missed, and our to-do lists seem never-ending. The reason, Allen explains, is that most of us don't have a comprehensive approach to managing our work. Instead, we rely on piecemeal solutions, which only provide temporary relief. What we need is a complete system that can handle everything life throws at us, from the smallest task to the largest project. To address this, Allen introduces the 5 stages of mastering workflow: capturing, clarifying, organizing, reflecting, and engaging. These stages form the foundation of the GTD method, providing a systematic way to manage all the tasks and responsibilities that come our way. The first stage is capturing. This is about getting everything out of your head and into a trusted external system. Allen stresses the importance of capturing every idea, task, or commitment, no matter how small or insignificant it may seem. Whether it's a note about picking up groceries, a reminder to send an email, or an idea for a new project, it all needs to be written down or recorded in some way. Allen's reasoning is simple. If you don't capture it, you'll either forget it or, worse, you'll keep it in your mind, where it will distract you from more important tasks. A crucial part of capturing is doing so as soon as possible, preventing tasks from becoming mental clutter that drains your focus and energy. The second stage is clarifying. Once you've captured everything, the next step is to clarify what each item means and what needs to be done with it. Allen advises that each captured item should be processed, asking questions like, is this actionable? If so, what's the next step? If it's not actionable, should it be saved for reference, deferred for later, or discarded altogether? The goal here is to avoid letting captured items pile up without definition, which leads to anxiety and confusion. Clarifying is about making decisions early and often so that nothing lingers in a state of uncertainty. The third stage is organizing. After you've clarified what needs to be done, the next step is to organize these actions into a trusted system. This is where Allen introduces the idea of setting up lists, folders, and calendars to manage your commitments. Tasks that require action should go on a next actions list, while larger projects should be broken down into smaller tasks and organized in a project list. Time-specific tasks belong on your calendar. The key to organizing is to create a system that you trust and that you'll review regularly so nothing gets lost or forgotten. The fourth stage is reflecting. Even the best system will fail if you don't regularly review and update it. Alan emphasizes the importance of weekly reviews, where you go through all your lists, projects, and commitments to ensure everything is up to date. The weekly review is a time to reflect on your priorities, make adjustments, and ensure that you're staying on track. Without this regular check-in, it's easy for things to slip through the cracks, leading to stress and overwhelm. The fifth stage is engaging. This is where the rubber meets the road. Once you've captured, clarified, organized, and reflected on your tasks, the final step is to actually do the work. Engaging is about making informed choices about what to work on at any given moment. Alan provides a framework for deciding what to do based on four criteria: context, what tools or resources are available; time available, how much time do you have right now; energy level, how much energy do you have; and priority, what's the most important task to focus on. By considering these factors, you can make more deliberate, informed decisions about how to spend your time. Chapter 2 serves as the backbone of the GTD system, providing a clear, step-by-step approach to mastering workflow. By following these 5 stages: capturing, clarifying, organizing, reflecting, and engaging, you can bring order to your work and life, reducing stress and increasing productivity. I'll tell you that Alan's method is not just about getting more done. It's about creating a system you trust so you can focus on what matters most. In Chapter 3, Alan dives deeper into the first 2 stages of mastering workflow: capturing and clarifying. These stages, as you'll come to see, are the foundation of the entire GTD system. Without them, the rest of the process falls apart. But when done correctly, they provide a powerful framework for staying organized and on top of your responsibilities. Alan begins by discussing the importance of having the right tools for capturing information. He recommends using tools that are simple, easy to access, and portable. Whether it's a notebook, a voice recorder, or a digital app, the key is to have a system where you can capture information immediately, no matter where you are. Alan stresses that capturing needs to be habitual, something you do all the time, without thinking about it. If you don't have a reliable way to capture information as soon as it comes to you, it's easy for things to slip through the cracks. He also emphasizes the importance of capturing everything, not just work-related tasks. Personal errands, ideas for future projects, books you want to read, even random thoughts that pop into your head. They all need to be captured in your system. The goal is to create a mind like water, where your brain is free to think and process rather than hold on to every little task or idea that comes your way. Once you've captured everything, the next step is to clarify what it all means. Alan introduces the concept of inbox zero, where every item in your inbox, whether it's an email, a piece of paper, or a task on your to-do list, needs to be processed and clarified. The goal is to make quick decisions about each item, rather than letting them pile up. Alan breaks down the clarifying process into 3 simple steps: do it, delegate it, or defer it. If a task can be completed in less than 2 minutes, do it right away. If it requires someone else's involvement, delegate it. If it's something that requires more time or effort, defer it and put it on your list of next actions or calendar. This approach prevents tasks from lingering in a state of uncertainty, which leads to stress and procrastination. Alan is clear: capturing and clarifying are the foundation of a productive life. Without these 2 steps, you'll constantly be playing catch-up, trying to remember what you need to do next. But by mastering these 2 stages, you'll be well on your way to achieving the clarity and focus that the GTD system promises. In Chapter 4 of Getting Things Done, David Allen turns his attention to the next crucial stage of his workflow mastery system: organizing. After capturing and clarifying your tasks, you now need to put them in their rightful places so you can easily access and manage them. Allen begins by explaining that organizing isn't just about filing things away or tidying up your workspace. It's about creating a system where every task, idea, or piece of information has a designated place. When things are properly organized, you don't have to waste mental energy wondering what to do next or where to find important documents. Everything is where it needs to be, and you can focus on doing the actual work. To get started, Allen introduces the concept of buckets, places where you store and manage the tasks and information you've captured. He categorizes these buckets into distinct groups, each serving a specific purpose. Next actions. This is the list where you record all the tasks you need to do in the near future. These are the specific, actionable steps you've clarified in the previous stage. Alan emphasizes the importance of keeping this list clear and organized. The tasks on it should be small, manageable actions, things you can do in one sitting, like send email to client or call the plumber. Projects. A project, in Alan's definition, is anything that requires more than one step to complete. Whether it's planning a vacation, organizing a conference, or renovating your kitchen, these are larger undertakings that need to be broken down into smaller actions. Each project should have a clearly defined outcome and a list of associated tasks. Alan advises maintaining a separate project list where you can easily see everything you're working on. Waiting for. This list is for tasks or projects that are currently out of your hands because you're waiting for someone else to complete something. For example, if you've delegated a task to a colleague or are waiting for a vendor to deliver supplies, you would record that here. This ensures you don't lose track of tasks that are temporarily on hold. Someday/maybe. This is a list for ideas, projects, or tasks that you might want to pursue in the future, but that aren't urgent or important right now. Whether it's learning a new skill, writing a book, or visiting a new country, this list allows you to keep track of your longer-term aspirations without cluttering your immediate to-do list. Reference material. This is where you store non-actionable information that you may need to refer to later, such as research notes, contact information, or meeting minutes. Reference materials don't require action, but they're important to keep organized so you can quickly access them when needed. Alan emphasizes that once you've placed everything in the appropriate bucket, you'll be able to move through your tasks with much greater ease and clarity. However, he warns that organizing isn't a one-time event. It's an ongoing process, requiring regular reviews and updates. By keeping your system clean and up-to-date, you can ensure that nothing slips through the cracks and that you're always clear on what needs to be done. Chapter 5 takes us to the next stage of the GTD process, reflecting. Even with a well-organized system in place, Alan emphasizes that regular reflection is essential for staying on top of your commitments. Alan begins by introducing the concept of the weekly review, a dedicated time to review your system, reflect on your progress, and ensure that everything is up to date. The weekly review is a cornerstone of the GTD methodology, providing an opportunity to step back from the day-to-day grind and assess the bigger picture. The weekly review serves several important purposes. First, it ensures that nothing gets missed. By regularly reviewing your projects, next actions, and waiting for lists, you can catch tasks that may have slipped through the cracks or that need to be updated. Second, it helps you stay focused on your priorities. By reflecting on what you've accomplished over the past week and what's coming up next, you can make more informed decisions about where to focus your energy. Alan recommends setting aside a specific time each week, preferably the same time and day, to conduct your review. During this time, you should go through all your lists and folders, ensuring that everything is in its proper place and that no task or project is left unaccounted for. He outlines a simple checklist for the weekly review. Gather loose papers. Any notes, emails, or documents that haven't yet been captured should be collected and processed. Review previous calendar data. Look at the past week's appointments and tasks to ensure that nothing has been missed or needs follow-up. Review upcoming calendar data. Look ahead to the next few weeks to see what's coming up and make any necessary preparations. Review action lists. Go through your next actions list to ensure that all tasks are still relevant and that new tasks are added as needed. Review project lists. Look at your current projects and make sure that each one has a next action associated with it. If any project has stalled, now is the time to reassess and make adjustments. Review waiting for lists. Check in on any tasks that are awaiting input from others and follow up as necessary. Review someday/maybe lists. Reflect on your long-term goals and decide if any of them should be moved into active projects or remain on hold. Review any relevant checklists. If you have specialized checklists for certain projects or areas of responsibility, make sure they are up to date. The weekly review, Alan stresses, is about getting clear and current with your commitments. It's an opportunity to recalibrate, to make sure that your system is working for you, and to regain control over your tasks and responsibilities. Alan closes the chapter by emphasizing that reflection isn't just about staying organized. It's also about maintaining balance and perspective. Without regular reflection, it's easy to become overwhelmed by the sheer volume of tasks and responsibilities. But by making reflection a regular habit, you can approach your work with greater clarity, focus, and peace of mind. With Chapter 5, Alan completes the foundation of the GTD system, equipping you with the tools to manage your workflow from start to finish. By capturing, clarifying, organizing, and reflecting on your tasks, you create a system you can trust, one that allows you to engage with your work without the constant stress of wondering what needs to be done next. In Chapter 6 of Getting Things Done, David Allen shifts focus to the final key component of the GTD methodology, engaging with your work. Up until this point, the system has been all about capturing, clarifying, organizing, and reflecting on tasks and commitments. But at the end of the day, it's your ability to take action that really makes the system effective. Allen introduces the 4 criteria model for choosing which tasks to tackle. This decision-making framework helps you prioritize tasks based on 4 key factors. Context. The first and most immediate filter is your current context or environment. Some tasks require specific tools or settings to be completed, so the context will naturally dictate what you can do. For example, if you're at your desk with access to your computer and phone, you can work on tasks that require those tools. But if you're out running errands, you'll focus on tasks you can accomplish while out of the office. Time available. The next filter is the amount of time you have available. If you only have 10 minutes before your next meeting, you'll need to choose a task that can be completed quickly. On the other hand, if you have an open afternoon, you can tackle more involved projects that require extended focus. Energy available. Your energy level is another crucial factor in deciding which task to take on. Allen emphasizes that not all tasks are created equal in terms of mental or physical effort. When you're feeling energetic and focused, you can take on more complex or creative tasks. But if you're tired or mentally drained, it's better to focus on simpler, more routine tasks that don't require as much brain power. Priority. Finally, once you've considered context, time, and energy, you can prioritize tasks based on their importance. Allen recommends using your intuition and judgment to decide which tasks are the most important at any given moment. Your priorities will be informed by your overall goals, the deadlines you're working toward, and the commitments you've made. Allen emphasizes that this model isn't meant to be rigid or mechanical. Instead, it's a flexible framework that helps you make informed decisions about how to spend your time and energy in the most productive way. By considering these 4 criteria, you can avoid the stress of trying to do everything at once and instead focus on what makes the most sense in the moment. After introducing the 4 criteria model, Allen goes on to describe the threefold nature of work. According to Allen, there are 3 main types of work you'll engage in on a daily basis. Predefined work. These are tasks that you've already identified and organized into your system, things that are on your next actions or project lists. Predefined work is what you'll engage with when you're following your GTD system and choosing tasks based on the 4 criteria. Work as it shows up. This refers to the tasks and responsibilities that arise unexpectedly throughout the day. Whether it's an urgent email, a colleague asking for help, or a sudden crisis, these tasks often demand immediate attention and can disrupt your predefined work. Allen emphasizes the importance of staying flexible and being able to handle these unexpected tasks without losing control of your overall system. Defining your work. This is the meta-level work of capturing, clarifying, and organizing tasks. It's the work of maintaining your system and ensuring that everything is up to date. Defining your work is an ongoing process, and it's crucial to set aside time for this regularly so you don't become overwhelmed by unprocessed tasks. Allen concludes the chapter by reiterating that effective engagement with your work is about making informed choices based on your context, time, energy, and priorities. When you trust your system and know that everything is captured and organized, you can confidently engage with your tasks, knowing you're focusing on the right thing at the right time. In Chapter 7, Allen introduces the concept of the 6-level model for reviewing your work. This model provides a way to zoom in and out of different levels of focus, helping you assess your work from various perspectives, from the most granular tasks to your long-term life goals. Allen likens this model to looking at your work from different altitudes, each representing a different level of perspective. Runway, current actions. This is the most immediate level, where you focus on the specific tasks you need to complete in the short term. It's your next actions list, where you decide what to do on a day-to-day basis. The runway is where you're most likely to spend the bulk of your time, managing the nitty-gritty details of your work. 10,000 feet, current projects. At this level, you take a step back to review your current projects, those that require multiple actions to complete. By regularly reviewing your projects list, you can ensure that each project is moving forward and that you're making progress on your broader goals. 20,000 feet, areas of focus and accountability. This level is about looking at your broader areas of responsibility, both personal and professional. These are the key domains of your life that you're accountable for, such as your career, health, relationships, and finances. Reviewing these areas helps you ensure that you're balancing your time and energy across all the important aspects of your life. 30,000 feet, 1 to 2 year goals. At this altitude, you're looking ahead to your medium-term goals, what you want to achieve in the next 1 to 2 years. These goals may involve significant life or career changes, such as earning a promotion, starting a business, or completing a major project. Regularly reviewing your goals at this level ensures that your day-to-day actions are aligned with your longer-term objectives. 40,000 feet, 3 to 5 year vision. This level is about envisioning your future in the next 3 to 5 years. It's where you reflect on your broader life direction, such as where you want your career to be or what kind of personal growth you hope to achieve. Reviewing your vision at this level helps you stay focused on your long-term aspirations and make strategic decisions about your life and work. 50,000 feet, life purpose. Finally, at the highest altitude, you're looking at the big picture of your life, your purpose, values, and overall sense of meaning. This level is about reflecting on the ultimate goals that drive you and ensuring that your actions and decisions are in alignment with your core values. While you may not review this level as frequently, it serves as a guiding star for everything else. Allen emphasizes that reviewing your work at all 6 levels is essential for maintaining balance and perspective. While most of your time will be spent at the lower levels, managing day-to-day tasks and projects, it's important to regularly review the higher levels to ensure that your actions are aligned with your larger life goals and purpose. By providing a framework for reviewing your work at different altitudes, Allen equips you with the tools to stay focused and productive, no matter how big or small the task at hand. With this final piece of the puzzle, the GTD system is complete, offering a comprehensive approach to managing your work and life with clarity, confidence, and control. In Chapter 8 of Getting Things Done, David Allen turns his attention to one of the most critical aspects of productivity: reflection. This chapter, titled Reviewing, Keeping Your System Functional, emphasizes the importance of regularly reviewing your tasks and projects to ensure that your system stays current, reliable, and effective. Allen likens the review process to fine-tuning a machine. No matter how well-designed a system is, it can only remain functional if it's consistently maintained and updated. In the Getting Things Done (GTD) methodology, this maintenance comes in the form of a weekly review, an essential practice for staying organized and focused. The weekly review is the time you set aside to bring your system back to equilibrium. It's when you step back from the day-to-day rush and take a broader view of everything you've collected, processed, and organized. Allen explains that the weekly review serves 3 main purposes. Get clear. The first goal of the review is to ensure that all your open loops are captured and clarified. This means reviewing your inboxes, whether physical or digital, and making sure everything has been processed. During this step, you're identifying any new tasks or commitments that need to be added to your system. Get current. Once everything has been captured, the next step is to ensure that your system is up to date. This involves reviewing your calendar, projects list, and next actions list to make sure they accurately reflect your current priorities and commitments. You're checking to see if there are any outdated tasks that can be removed or any new tasks that need to be added. Get creative. The final purpose of the weekly review is to give yourself the mental space to think creatively and strategically about your work. With everything organized and up to date, you can step back and reflect on your larger goals and priorities. This is when you might brainstorm new projects, think about long-term aspirations, or identify ways to improve your workflows. Allen emphasizes that the weekly review is not just about housekeeping. It's a vital part of the GTD system that allows you to regain control and perspective. Without regular reviews, your system can quickly become outdated or overwhelming, leading to missed deadlines and increased stress. The weekly review ensures that your system remains a trusted source of clarity and focus, enabling you to make informed decisions about how to spend your time and energy. Alan also provides practical tips for making the weekly review a consistent habit. He suggests scheduling a specific time for your review each week and treating it as a non-negotiable appointment. He also recommends breaking the review into smaller, manageable steps so that it doesn't feel overwhelming. In the second half of the chapter, Alan dives into the mechanics of the review process, outlining a detailed step-by-step guide for conducting a thorough review. The process includes reviewing your calendar, both past and upcoming, your projects list, your next actions list, your waiting for list, tasks you're waiting on from others, and any relevant reference materials. By systematically working through each of these areas, you ensure that nothing slips through the cracks and that you have a complete picture of your work. Alan concludes Chapter 8 by reiterating that the weekly review is not just an optional add-on to the GTD system. It's a cornerstone of staying productive and stress-free. With regular reviews, you can trust that your system is always up to date, which frees up mental energy for creative thinking and focused action. In Chapter 9, titled Doing, Making the Best Action Choices, David Allen focuses on the final, most crucial step of the GTD methodology, taking action. Throughout the previous chapters, Allen has laid out a comprehensive system for capturing, clarifying, organizing, and reviewing your tasks and commitments. But all of this preparation is only valuable if it leads to effective, focused action. Allen begins by addressing a common problem: the paralysis that comes from having too many choices. Once you've organized your tasks into lists and categories, you might find yourself staring at a long list of next actions and wondering, what do I do next? This chapter is about making smart, informed choices about where to focus your time and energy. To help with this decision-making process, Allen revisits the 4 criteria model for choosing tasks, which he introduced earlier in the book. Context: where are you, and what tools do you have available? This is the most immediate filter for narrowing down your task list. If you're at your computer, you can tackle tasks that require a computer. If you're out running errands, you can focus on tasks that can be done while out of the office. Time available: how much time do you have before your next commitment? If you only have a few minutes, you'll need to focus on quick tasks. If you have a larger block of time, you can work on more substantial projects. Energy available: how much energy do you have? Allen emphasizes that not all tasks require the same level of mental or physical effort. If you're feeling fresh and focused, you can tackle more complex or creative tasks. If you're tired or drained, it's better to focus on simpler, routine tasks. Priority: what's the most important thing to do right now? This is where your judgment and intuition come into play. You'll need to consider deadlines, commitments, and overall goals to decide which task is most important at any given moment. In addition to the 4 criteria model, Allen introduces the threefold nature of work, which helps you understand the different types of work you might engage in. Predefined work: this is the work you've already identified and organized in your system, tasks that are on your next actions or project lists. Work as it shows up: this refers to the unexpected tasks that arise throughout the day. Whether it's an urgent email, a colleague asking for help, or a sudden crisis, these tasks can disrupt your planned work. Defining your work: this is the meta-level work of capturing, clarifying, and organizing tasks. It's the ongoing maintenance of your GTD system. Allen explains that on any given day, you'll be balancing these 3 types of work. The key is to be flexible and responsive, while also ensuring that your predefined work doesn't get lost in the shuffle of urgent tasks. To help you stay focused and avoid distractions, Allen also introduces the concept of the 6 horizons of focus. This framework provides a way to zoom in and out of your tasks, helping you assess your work from different perspectives, from day-to-day actions to long-term life goals. Ground level: current actions. 10,000 feet, current projects. 20,000 feet, areas of focus and responsibility. 30,000 feet, 1 to 2 year goals. 40,000 feet, 3 to 5 year vision. 50,000 feet, life purpose. By considering your work at these different levels, you can make informed decisions about where to focus your attention in the moment while keeping an eye on your larger goals. In the final section of the chapter, Alan stresses the importance of trusting your intuition and making choices with confidence. When your system is functioning well and everything is captured and organized, you can trust that whatever task you choose to focus on is the right one for that moment. With this, Alan wraps up the foundational principles of the GTD methodology, having guided the reader through every stage of mastering workflow and taking effective action. In Chapter 10, titled Getting Projects Under Control, David Allen shifts his focus to one of the most daunting aspects of productivity: managing larger, multi-step projects. While getting things done, GTD, is often associated with tackling smaller tasks and clearing out day-to-day clutter, Allen emphasizes that the methodology is just as effective for keeping complex projects organized and moving forward. He starts by defining what a project is within the GTD system. For Allen, any desired outcome that requires more than one action step is considered a project. This definition means that even relatively simple endeavors, like preparing for a meeting or organizing a small event, are classified as projects in the GTD framework. This distinction helps ensure that all multi-step commitments are tracked and properly managed. The challenge with projects, Allen explains, is that they often feel overwhelming because they contain many moving parts. Without a clear plan, it's easy to get bogged down in details, lose sight of the next step, or even avoid starting altogether. To address this, Allen introduces a systematic approach to project management built around breaking projects down into manageable, actionable steps. The first key to gaining control of your projects is to clearly define the outcome. Allen stresses the importance of being specific about what you're trying to achieve. Vague goals like "finish the report" should be replaced with concrete outcomes, such as complete and submit the 10-page quarterly report by Friday. A clear outcome provides focus and direction, making it easier to determine the steps needed to reach it. Once the outcome is defined, the next step is to identify the next action. This is the very next physical, visible step you need to take to move the project forward. For example, if the project is to submit a report, the next action might be research the data for the introduction, or send an email to request information from a colleague. By focusing on the next action, you reduce overwhelm and create momentum, turning a large, intimidating project into a series of small, manageable steps. Allen also highlights the importance of maintaining an up-to-date projects list. This list serves as an overview of all your open projects and should be reviewed regularly, at least during your weekly review, to ensure that nothing falls through the cracks. For each project on the list, you should know the desired outcome and the next action. By regularly reviewing this list, you can make sure your projects stay on track and adjust priorities as needed. In addition to the projects list, Allen introduces the concept of a project support material. These are the notes, documents, and reference materials associated with each project. While the next action for each project is captured in your task management system, the supporting materials are stored separately, either in physical files or digital folders. This separation helps keep your task list clean and focused while ensuring you have all the information you need when you're ready to work on a project. Allen emphasizes that effective project management isn't about juggling every detail in your head. Instead, it's about creating a reliable external system that captures and organizes all the necessary information. By doing so, you free up mental space and reduce stress, making it easier to focus on creative problem-solving and decision-making. Towards the end of Chapter 10, Allen discusses the importance of outcome thinking for successful project completion. This involves regularly revisiting the desired outcome and making sure that your actions are aligned with that goal. It's easy to get sidetracked by smaller tasks or obstacles, but by keeping the outcome front and center, you ensure that your efforts are directed towards achieving the desired result. In Chapter 11, titled The Power of Outcome Focusing, David Allen delves deeper into the mental shift required to consistently achieve successful outcomes. While the previous chapters have focused on the mechanics of GTD, the capturing, processing, organizing, and reviewing of tasks, this chapter explores the mindset that underpins the methodology. Allen begins by explaining that the human brain is naturally wired for outcome thinking. From an evolutionary perspective, our brains are designed to solve problems and achieve goals. However, in the modern world, with its overwhelming number of inputs and distractions, we often lose sight of the outcomes we're trying to achieve. Instead of focusing on results, we get caught up in reactive, busy work. The GTD system helps counteract this tendency by encouraging deliberate, intentional thinking about outcomes. Allen emphasizes that outcome thinking isn't just about knowing what you want to achieve. It's about consistently framing your work in terms of results. Every task, project, or commitment should have a clear, defined outcome, which then drives your actions. Allen introduces the concept of the natural planning model to illustrate how outcome thinking works in practice. This model is based on the way the brain naturally approaches problem solving, and it consists of 5 steps. Defining purpose and principles. The first step is to clearly understand why you're doing something. What is the purpose of the project or task? What principles or guidelines should inform how you approach it? Defining purpose helps ensure that your efforts are aligned with your broader goals and values. Visioning the outcome. Once the purpose is clear, the next step is to envision the desired outcome. What does success look like? What will the completed project or task result in? A vivid vision of the outcome provides motivation and helps guide decision-making. Brainstorming. With a clear vision in mind, the next step is to brainstorm ideas and possible approaches. Allen emphasizes that this is a free-flowing, creative process. There's no need to organize or evaluate ideas at this stage. The goal is to generate as many ideas as possible without judgment. Organizing. After brainstorming, the ideas are organized into a coherent plan. This involves identifying key steps, resources, and timelines. Allen suggests grouping similar ideas together and identifying dependencies, tasks that need to be completed before others can begin. Identifying next actions. The final step is to determine the next physical action that needs to be taken to move the project forward. This step is crucial because it ensures that the plan is actionable, rather than just a collection of ideas. By focusing on the next action, you can immediately start making progress. Allen explains that this model mirrors the way the brain naturally approaches problem solving, and by consciously applying it to your work, you can dramatically increase your effectiveness. Outcome thinking, combined with the natural planning model, helps you stay focused on results, rather than getting bogged down in details or distractions. In the latter part of Chapter 11, Allen discusses the importance of maintaining a positive, proactive mindset when approaching your work. He stresses that outcome thinking is not just a productivity tool. It's a way of approaching life with clarity and purpose. By consistently thinking about outcomes, you create a sense of control and direction, which in turn reduces stress and increases satisfaction. Allen closes the chapter by encouraging readers to make outcome focusing a habit. Whether you're tackling a large project or a small task, consistently asking yourself, "What's the desired outcome?" will help ensure that your efforts are purposeful and aligned with your goals. In Chapter 12, titled Harnessing the Power of the Weekly Review, David Allen introduces one of the most crucial rituals in the Getting Things Done (GTD) methodology, the weekly review. This chapter highlights how essential it is to regularly step back, reflect, and reorganize to maintain control over your work and ensure that nothing slips through the cracks. The weekly review is Allen's solution to the natural buildup of tasks, commitments, and ideas that accumulate during the week. Even the most disciplined practitioner of GTD can find themselves overwhelmed if they don't periodically review and clean up their system. The weekly review acts as a reset button, providing a structured way to revisit your commitments, make sure your task lists and projects are current, and regain a sense of clarity. Allen stresses that the weekly review isn't just about updating lists. It's a reflective process that allows you to assess your progress, reassess priorities, and ensure that your actions are aligned with your goals. He describes it as a way to stay appropriately engaged with your work. Without this regular review, you risk becoming overwhelmed, reactive, and disconnected from the bigger picture of what you're trying to accomplish. The review itself is a step-by-step process that involves several key actions: gathering loose papers and materials. Allen begins by recommending that you first gather all the loose papers, notes, receipts, and other physical items that have accumulated throughout the week. These need to be processed and either filed, discarded, or captured in your system. This step helps to ensure that no important information is missed. Emptying your capturing tools. This step involves emptying all of your inboxes, whether physical, digital, or mental. This includes email inboxes, voicemail, text messages, and any notes or ideas you've captured throughout the week. The goal is to make sure that every new task, idea, or commitment is processed and entered into your GTD system. Reviewing your projects list. Next, you'll review your projects list to ensure that all your open projects are current and properly tracked. For each project, you should know the desired outcome and the next action. This is an opportunity to make sure that no project is stalled or forgotten. Reviewing next actions lists. After reviewing your projects, it's time to go over your next actions lists. Are there any actions that need to be completed? Are there any actions that are no longer relevant or have been overlooked? This step helps keep your tasks up to date and aligned with your current priorities. Reviewing your calendar. The weekly review also involves reviewing your calendar, both for the previous week and the upcoming week. This allows you to reflect on what's been accomplished, identify any follow-up actions, and ensure that you're prepared for any upcoming commitments or events. Reviewing your waiting for list. Alan advises reviewing your waiting for list, which tracks tasks or commitments that are dependent on other people. This is an opportunity to follow up on any outstanding requests or commitments that are holding up your progress. Reviewing your someday/maybe list. Finally, the weekly review involves reviewing your someday/maybe list, a collection of ideas, projects, and goals that you're not actively pursuing but may want to revisit in the future. This list serves as a source of inspiration and an opportunity to reconsider potential future projects. Alan stresses that the weekly review is both a reflective and strategic activity. It's a time to pause and think about what's most important, ensuring that you're moving in the right direction and not getting bogged down by day-to-day distractions. He acknowledges that the weekly review can feel time-consuming, but he argues that the benefits far outweigh the costs. By consistently conducting this review, you create a sense of control, reduce stress, and ensure that your system remains reliable and effective. Alan closes Chapter 12 by emphasizing that the weekly review is a habit that takes time to develop. It may feel awkward or difficult at first, but with practice, it becomes an essential part of maintaining a productive and balanced life. The weekly review is the cornerstone of the GTD system, allowing you to consistently reset, refocus, and regain clarity. In Chapter 13, the final chapter, titled The Power of the Collection Habit, David Allen takes a step back to revisit one of the foundational aspects of the GTD methodology, the habit of collecting everything that has your attention. Throughout the book, Allen has emphasized the importance of capturing all tasks, ideas, and commitments in an external system to free up mental space and reduce stress. In this chapter, he explores the deeper significance of this habit and its transformative impact on both productivity and peace of mind. Allen begins by reiterating that the human brain is not designed to hold and manage complex lists of tasks and commitments. When we try to keep everything in our heads, we inevitably experience mental clutter, stress, and a diminished ability to focus. The act of collection, capturing everything that has our attention in a trusted external system, is the foundation of the GTD methodology because it allows us to offload this mental burden. The process of collection involves more than just jotting down tasks on a to-do list. Allen describes it as a holistic habit of capturing every single open loop, whether it's a task, an idea, or a commitment, so that nothing is left unaddressed or forgotten. This can include work-related tasks, personal commitments, creative ideas, or even long-term goals and dreams. By collecting everything, you create a sense of completeness and reduce the anxiety that comes from feeling like something important might slip through the cracks. Allen emphasizes that the collection habit is not just a one-time activity, but a continuous, ongoing process. Throughout the day, as new tasks, ideas, and commitments arise, you should immediately capture them in your system. Whether you use a notebook, an app, or a voice recorder, the key is to have a reliable tool that's always within reach. The more consistent you are with collecting everything, the more you can trust that your system will capture and organize all of your commitments. One of the most significant benefits of the collection habit, Allen explains, is the sense of control it creates. When you know that everything you need to do, think about, or follow up on is captured in a trusted system, you can let go of the mental clutter and focus fully on the task at hand. This frees up cognitive resources for creative problem-solving, decision-making, and strategic thinking. Allen also discusses the psychological impact of incomplete tasks, which he refers to as open loops. These are commitments that you've made to yourself or others, but haven't yet completed. Open loops create a subtle but persistent sense of anxiety as your brain continually tries to remind you that something needs to be done. The collection habit allows you to close these open loops by ensuring that every task and commitment is captured and will be addressed in due time. The chapter concludes with Alan encouraging readers to fully commit to the collection habit. He acknowledges that it can be challenging to develop at first, especially if you're used to relying on your memory or scattered notes. However, by consistently practicing the habit of collecting everything, you can achieve a profound sense of clarity, control, and peace of mind. Chapter 13 underscores the transformative power of collection, showing how it's not just a productivity tool but a key to reducing stress and enhancing mental clarity. Alan's message is clear. When you trust that your system has captured everything, you can let go of the mental clutter and focus on what truly matters. Thanks for tuning in as we explored the core principles of getting things done. By implementing David Allen's strategies, you can transform chaos into clarity and reclaim your time. Remember, it's not just about checking items off a list. It's about creating a system that works for you, allowing you to focus on what truly matters. If you found this content helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on our latest insights. And let us know in the comments, what productivity challenges are you facing, and how do you plan to tackle them with the GTD method? Until next time, stay organized and keep thriving.